I can feel the intense cold returning. It seems that my eyes are open but my vision is clouded. It is dark and I can see the sparkle of stars in the night sky. There are the foggy shadows of two men hovering over me. One of them, a very large man holding me down as another appears to be tying me to stakes driven into the ice. I know this is just a dream but what I am seeing and feeling seems so real. Slowly things start to come into focus. The faces become more clear and even though I do not recognize them, they feel oddly familiar. Both men are dressed in clothing like you would see in a historical drama. I believe the story Kim Lee read to me is influencing my dreams. I am now starting to hear the things going on around me. I can hear the sounds of ocean waves breaking on the frozen shoreline. I could hear the sound of the two men driving stakes into the ice near me. I'm struggling against the bonds, but I give in without too much effort. I am consciously restraining myself for some strange reason. Both men now kneeling beside me, one on each side. Each with their heads down showing signs of remorse. The large man putting his hand on my chest saying, "I'm sorry," with his voice cracking. The other man's eyes widen momentarily, looking at his friend and then placing his hand on top of that of his comrade. Lowering his head he begged, "Please forgive us." With those last words, the two men stood up and stepped back. The larger man picking up a large spear and started to thrust it into the ground by my feet. I could hear the sound of ice cracking as he repeatedly struck the tip of the spear against the ice. And then, with the last thrust, the two men put their hands on the shaft of the spear and together pulling on it like a lever, the chunk of ice I was tied to broke free and started drifting away. Such a vivid dream. But it seemed so real. Especially this feeling of intense cold. Even though it was just a dream, I could feel myself shuddering and numbness setting into my limbs. I am starting to feel that if I do not wake from this dream soon, I will surely die. The feeling of being adrift is starting to settle and the warmth is returning to my body. There is the sudden glare of an intensely white light penetrating my vision and blue spots and shadowy figures followed. I heard the distinct voice of Dr. Jin say, "He's awake." Looking around the room there was Dr. Jin and his team and Min Ho standing by my bed. She turned away and raised her hand for someone to come forward. It was my friend, Kim Lee. "Welcome back," he said, excitedly. I tried to sit up, but I had been restrained to the hospital bed with many tethers. "I'm sorry about that," said Min Ho. "But that is for your own protection right now. Congratulations, you did just made medical history." I tried to thank her, but my tongue felt fat and uncoordinated in my mouth and I wasn't able to express myself properly. "Give it some time," she said. "You are healing well, in fact beyond our wildest expectations. But you will need a little physical therapy and some speech coaching to help you along. We have already hired the best available to work with you, so please be patient. Unfortunately, we can't keep you awake for too long. We will soon be putting you into a drug-induced coma for a few days to allow your body to heal more comfortably. But before we could proceed, we just had to wake you up, to be sure you were still with us." I nodded my head to acknowledge I understood what she was saying. She reached down and placed her hand on top of mine and motioned to the nurse to administer the sedative. For the first time in recent memory, I felt the touch of another human being. I could feel my eyes start to water as overwhelming emotion overtook me. The surgery was obviously a success. Is it really possible that I could soon be normal once again? The medication started to take control as I felt my consciousness started slipping away once more. How grateful I feel at this very moment, I thought, just before I drifted off into a drug-induced, dreamlike state.